welcome to another episode of What Day Is It? Your favorite animal podcast that keeps straying a little further. God damn it, Fluffy.
Sorry.
He ruins everything. I'm sorry for his noise and disruption, everybody.
I don't have the ice this time, though.
He doesn't, but he does have mints. So he'll continue being noisy, Fluffy. Anyway, welcome to the podcast, guys. We're happy to have you guys. This is episode 14.
14, I believe.
14. Once again, with us on this episode is my brother, Sid. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
The people seem to really enjoy Sid. So we figured we'd bring him back until we, are popular enough for another guest, because we don't know anybody.
He's going to shoot us right up to stardom, man. I'm telling you.
He might. He's popular, man. I don't know what it is about it, but
I did want to tell you from the last episode, just in case there's any confusion, because you made it clear we're brothers from the same mother. Just in case anyone's wondering, we also did share the same father.
That's true.
I was
possibility of not happening,
but
we do.
Yeah, we did, which is honestly kind of surprising. with the parent track record we have going on, I wouldn't be surprised, if there was foul play, but whatever. Shout out Jim.
Right.
Whatever they are, the reason. R.I.P. Dead Dad Club. So, this week coming on the podcast, there is one specific thing I did want to talk to you guys about, but I figured we would just kind of, roll in, talk about our week a little bit first.
lot getting done this week.
Yeah. What take us from the start here. What you got?
But the railings in yesterday, that was a nightmare. Well, the start was.
The people have no idea what the railings.
So we were putting the railings in next to the camel ride for the camel caravan because we're getting that going. It's gonna be hot.
It'll be the first camel caravan in Wisconsin, baby.
Making progress and drilling some holes with Sid's wonderful auger.
Yep.
And first time using a one-man auger, and we got it stuck.
Yeah, that was your first time using one?
In dirt, yeah.
Yeah.
We used a two-man.
What were you using it in if it wasn't dirt?
Ice.
Oh, yeah, that's valid. Yeah, we were on the first hole. We sunk it a little too deep into some clay, and that auger it's over 4 feet deep.
Gotta be 5 feet, right?
It might be around.
There's a 3-foot extension on it, and then whatever
yeah, it's 5 feet easy.
And we Fluffy, he was ready to take care of it the right way, but I wanted to not get the skid steer out. So I was like, we'll just grab the jack and we'll jack it out, and
that didn't work.
Didn't fucking work. And then we took the auger itself off and tried to jack out the extension, which also didn't work.
It moved a little bit, about 6 inches.
A hair. And then the jack started just going into the ground with it, started pushing the ground deeper. And then we were like, fucking, I went and got the skid steer, and we hooked the extension up to a chain and lifted out with the skid steer. And honestly, the skid steer, it fought that little thing a little bit.
It was
for sure. That hole was in there.
I thought that chain was going to break. It was such a small chain.
So our camel deck finally has a chute. Devin is out there currently at the moment slaving away. What would I do without Devin? He put the cross members on the deck so it's not wobbly anymore. I can't believe how sturdy that thing.
Oh yeah,
it sturdied up quick, man. Holy crap. So the deck's about done. We're getting rid of a lot of trash around here, so when people come to ride the camels, they won't see shit everywhere. That's kind of the goal right now.
I still show up, but I mean,
you're beautiful. People want to look at you. I would book the camel ride just to look at you.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. So we don't know when we're going to open the camel caravan yet. We're kind of coordinating that between a few people, because it takes 2 people to run at minimum, and I'm usually busy doing the tours, and as much as I want to run the caravan, I got to do the tours. So we're trying to get some people out there coordinated, maybe run the caravan 2 or 3 weekends or something out of the month. It would just be like a morning or afternoon thing. We'd probably run like 1 caravan a day or something. So it'd be quick, come first, come first come serve or whatever the fuck.
Come one, come all.
First serve.
What the first come, first serve. Yeah. Sorry, guys. The longer the day, the longer I feel more dyslexic or something. I don't. It's like
Your brain's not braining super.
my brain is not braining. I don't know if there's like is there like a type of dyslexia that just comes in and out?
Probably.
Like, do we have to always have it? Or can I just be like?
It's probably just like our autism. I don't know.
But hey,
We're all on the spectrum, right?
Absolutely. So the chute's put up, the camel ramp is built. Needs some railings and some other miscellaneous shit, but it's about good to go, and it's a big, beautiful deck, big brown deck.
It did its job today.
Absolutely. So yeah, we can talk about that. We saddled Flynn up, the new camel we were talking about, and we brought him out to the pasture, and we put him in the chute in the deck, and this was before the them boards were on, so the deck was not as sturdy, and Sid rode Flynn. That's the
first rider.
Yeah, he finally tried to scare me. I've been on bucking bulls, and now I feel like I could at least say I was on a camel that bucked for a second. Like he scared. He was like, I didn't know what he was trying to do because he lifted up and kind of sat back a little bit, and that was a little questionable. But
it's catchy.
That was still wasn't terrible. I addressed it with Flynn.
You lived. Heard you got a little spit on you too.
Yeah, that was just absolutely disgusting. It smells like it's not the worst smell I've smelled.
You
but
just
it's not
had
a
a
good
little
smell.
bit though. Get covered in it.
I've smelled some pretty bad smells though.
Copper tox is still worse.
copper tox is potent,
Yeah.
and it doesn't go away.
No.
Have you ever smelled an infected ostomy hole
Nope.
with no
Can't
bag
say-
on it?
No,
Yeah.
That sounds pretty bad.
rough. That does sound pretty bad.
I'll leave that up to the expert on that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Did you stick your nose in the hole?
You didn't need to. The whole house smelled so bad. So gross. It was like a big zit, like a whitehead, because it was infected or whatever, and it was like a little whitehead volcano of poop at one point.
Ew.
White poop. Huh?
Where was the
No,
bag?
the white was like the infected around it.
Yeah.
The poop was just coming out of the center. The guy he didn't have one. He wasn't taking care of himself.
Sounds like it.
Bob's diabetic MRSA urine was pretty gross
Oh.
smelling. Not that MRSA has anything to do with your urine, but I like to throw
Right.
that in there.
Bad.
His man, I mean, all he drank.
The smell
was
of
Mountain Dew.
infection. Yeah.
Ugh,
All of it.
man. For anybody out there that says dromedary camels don't spit, Sid experienced it firsthand. It was incredibly minimal. He wasn't covered or nothing, but he definitely got some cut on him.
I don't even think he tried to spit on me. It was like just coming out of his mouth when he was getting pissy or whatever, and it like just kind of dripped onto my.
If he didn't want that shit to come out, it wouldn't have come out.
Oh,
No.
Oh yeah, he was doing. Yeah, he was saying stay away.
well, it wasn't spitting like it dripped. I mean, he got me in a couple
So
places, but
the dromedary camels don't exactly do it projectile.
oh,
They kind of like puke it on you.
oh, see, I was thinking Jurassic Park.
No,
The Bactrian camels are projectile.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
they will cover you.
Bless you.
That being said, I have been covered by more dromedaries than Bactrians. I've obviously worked more dromedaries, but Stormy, the dromedary, he projectiled on me.
Really?
Absolutely. I can't make that. It was all over the side of the trailer,
Ugh.
It was like an 8-foot span on the side of the black trailer.
Uh,
So I definitely think if they try hard enough, it's plausible because I've seen it.
Yeah.
But generally, the dromedaries kind of like upchuck and just fling it on you.
yeah.
But no, do you remember Naughty Boy? He was owned by George Strobel.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That camel had me more covered than anyone. It was head to toe. We were at a ride too. It was fucking disgusting. But yeah, that was just that was gross. He got a little bit of a taste. He said he told me that's what you smelled like yesterday.
He forced me to give him a hug. I was like, "You stink."
I didn't get spit on yesterday.
No.
I just was working, so I probably smell like animal shit.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, ain't nothing different. I remember
Right.
when I first started working for Joe Don. Mom would always bitch picking me up from work because she said I smelled so fucking bad. And you become blind to that shit. I couldn't smell it. I didn't know.
All right.
After cleaning cat dens, oh my god, would I stink. Shoes were garbage.
Man, I mean, you really like if you come to work here, your shoes are tainted the first day.
Yeah.
Like it's over with.
Yeah.
And so when I was newer here, I don't know if it was like my first pair of shoes here or whatever, but I couldn't afford work shoes, so I went to work with my normal shoes right away, and I had a pair of they were blue, like a suede, like they were Supras, like a skate shoe.
Yep.
And I love them shoes, man. So I was working here for a little while, and I was in a I think it was a Photoshop class with Cameron Schoon at this time, and Cameron would just do stupid shit. He was the clown. He was funny, and I remember he would staple his arms and stuff and just do shit like that. But I had like $5 in my wallet, and I was like, dude, lick my shoe top to bottom. I'll give you $5. He said, give me your shoe.
Oh.
He's like, top to bottom, lick the whole fucking shoe, dude. That man got himself an extra chicken sandwich at Horlick lunch.
That's dysentery there, man.
I remember we had a lot of fun in that class. One time it was right after class. When you're walking through Horlick, sometimes there's like extra doorways in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be random door, and they're always open, of course, for kids to go through. But there's ceiling gets a little shorter there because they're doorways. And one day, Cameron and we were walking in the hallway, and everybody's going to class or whatever during passing time, and he jumps up. And before anybody sees it, he puts his hand in front of his head and he slams his head on the top of the doorway. And then he falls there, and he looked like a fallen Family Guy character just on the floor. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And he's just sitting there like nothing. He's just sitting there. And then every like blue moon, he'd have a little fly twitch or some shit. And eventually, everybody's asking if he's okay, and he just says nothing, walks away.
Sounds about right.
There's another time in that class too where we were playing hide and seek from all the hall monitors and shit. Like he would left to go to the bathroom, and then I left to go to the bathroom, and we just stayed gone the whole class period, just playing hide and seek in the hallways up and down the school. And eventually, the last couple minutes, we went back and got our book bags and shit. But yeah, Cameron was fun.
In that class, I used to be able to play Tony Hawk 3.
Really?
On the computers, yep. Like only 2 of them you could play it on the back of the class.
We played Halo. That was our thing going through school, because you could always get the first Halo demo on the MacBooks for free. And we were just, it was one map, but like it's all we fucking played, and eventually you'd end up getting like the whole computer room in on Halo, and I stayed whooping motherfuckers on there. Like I ain't tooting my horn, and I got a lot of people that'll whoop me in video games, but I stayed fucking people up in the computer lab, man. Man, I grabbed the sniper from the other end of the map. It was fucking over with.
Well, yeah, you better have been fucking not doing schoolwork. You're playing video games at home and at school.
Hell yeah. Hey, I flunked my way through high school, but I got a zoo now, so it's all right. Nothing else matters.
Right.
I didn't go to college for this. I didn't do shit. I got some on the job training.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Now you're a business owner.
And I'm broke.
Yep. So far. Ferrari money's coming though.
Coming. I mean, I'm probably gonna be like dead nuts broke for the next 3 or 4 years still.
Yeah, you said that 3 or 4 years ago too. So.
Well, I've only been I've been in business for 5.
Yeah.
At least I have a profit margin.
Oh yeah.
I spend it all, but like I see it.
That's the thing. You're spending it on the plays.
Right. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix this shithole.
Well, that's why he left you extra fence paneling out there just in case you needed it.
Oh, a lot of fence paneling.
Yeah, for scrap money. I don't like how it sounds so echoey in the headphones. Do you have that too?
A little bit, yeah.
But when we did the when we did the test, it sounded
fine.
So
Yeah.
I'm not quite worried about it. So the one thing I wanted to bring up today before we get back into bullshit is this is from The Guardian, a newsletter. The what's it called? The title Man dies of blunt force injuries at U.S. Zoo after suspected kangaroo fight.
Oh,
that's
shit. Was it sanctioned?
What was the color of the kangaroo? So this was, it says South Carolina officials investigate the death of Eric Slate, 52, and conditions of the petting zoo that is owned by his brother. Officials in South Carolina. That's fucked up. Wow. Officials in South Carolina are investigating the death of a man who was believed to have been killed while fighting a kangaroo in an enclosure at a children's petting zoo. Eric Slate, 52, died of multiple blunt force injuries. Why are you making me laugh, dude?
It's not funny.
I'm sorry. I've been on calls a lot of stupid shit happening to people for stupid reasons. Keep going. Sorry.
According to Tamara Willard, the chief deputy coroner of Horry County. Horry County? Horry County?
Horry?
If anybody's from South Carolina, and I'm pronouncing
probably
it,
butchering that.
It's Horry.
Horry, sure.
Horry. Local officials said Slate, brother of Five Star Farms owner Robert Slate, liked to enter the enclosures containing kangaroos and wallabies and roundhouse, quote unquote, with the kangaroo named Jack. Roughhouse, excuse me.
I was going to say roundhouse kick.
I was like, why are you roundhouse kicking your kangaroo?
Roadhouse.
That too. Mark Cossey, a Horry council member, told Newsweek that the animal was not euthanized and that the inspectors would come visit the farm this week to look at the enclosure and assess conditions at the zoo. A tribute posted on Facebook on Monday by Robert Slate featured a series of photographs of a man identified as Eric engaging with kangaroos of almost the same height. Your memory will live on, your voice will be heard, and Jack, your buddy the kangaroo, will be fine. So this shit is absolutely crazy. The death investigation remains active and ongoing. The statement said the deceased was located within the enclosure with wallabies and kangaroos of varying ages. There are a number of other animals at the incident location. All animals are accounted for and contained, and there is no risk to the community. They're saying that like kangaroos are really a danger. I had read another article on this that said, I don't know if it was brother or an employee, I don't remember, but they had found him when they got in for shift.
So he was in there early.
Yeah, he was already in there boxing.
Getting his workout.
A further statement from the farm's owner stated that the kangaroo was not nor has been out of his secure enclosure, and that the family-owned facility has been dedicated to providing a safe and enriching environment for animals and visitors alike. All right, so let's note this first and foremost to the Slate family. My condolences for sure. That is super sad, super fucked up.
Definitely.
What I can probably say as... obviously, we don't really know how it went down. Is he probably died doing what he loved? So we can at least have that. You know, we all go out there every day, and if the camel gets me, man, like this is where I was meant to be, man. I can't believe diabetes took Bob. Fucking tiger should have ate him or something.
Nothing was gonna eat him.
Like, dude,
That would give the animal diabetes.
Yeah. Cats don't eat shit. Remember?
Cats don't eat shit. That's funny. So we don't know anybody at this family. I've never even heard of this zoological facility.
Sounds like a road food, though.
How many
for sure
2-star reviews do you think 5-star Farms has?
We can check that out for sure.
Pull it up, Bob.
We'll pull that up. So the 5-star farm, yeah, it definitely sounds private. I'll look them up in a little bit here, but I want to think about this for a minute. So I've been boxed by a kangaroo.
Oh yeah.
The biggest I've been boxed by was probably Thumper here. When I got here, he was probably still younger, but he was muscular, so he was an old man. He was an old man because they don't hit that growth spurt for a long time. And what I always noticed, which it may have been, Thumper was smaller than average, but my arm span was a little longer than he could kick.
Yep.
So he just couldn't reach me. Now, I've transported other kangaroos. I've grabbed males. We walk them with their tails. Kangaroos generally just aren't as violent as people think they are.
Mm-hmm.
But when
That's why I'm surprised about this.
when they get pissed off, I mean, they kick with 700 pounds of force. I was looking into this the other day. I was curious, and I was reading that the average human punches with like 150, 200 pounds of force.
Mhm.
Though I had also read that like people that train and work out and like professional boxers, some of them can punch with like 800 to
I think
1,000 pounds of
Tyson's
force.
is like 600. I don't know. Tyson's is something, one of those stupid numbers.
So they go up if you're a trained athlete.
Yeah.
But kangaroos naturally kick with 700 pounds of force.
Yeah.
And kangaroos also punch with about 200 pounds of force. So a kangaroo punch is more than the average human.
Really?
One of these things?
Yeah.
T-Rex punch?
Yeah.
Just nothing
nuts.
there.
So they do a lot of damage.
Bob and weave.
They do a shit ton of damage that way. They can jump around doing about 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
They can jump a distance and height of anywhere from 8 to 10 feet. Like if that kangaroo is out to get you, like he's going to get you.
What would make a kangaroo want to keep hitting someone? Because most animals are relatively defensive unless they're just trying to kill you to eat you.
So kangaroos is honestly as friendly as they are. To put it kind of easily one way, they are animals. They get upset. And unlike us, we get upset, we go think about it, we watch a movie, listen to our favorite song, we deal with things. Kangaroos, they act strictly on instinct. And a lot of these animals are fight or flight, and kangaroos are prey animals.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time it is fight because they are powerful animals.
Right.
But that being said, we don't know the place, so nobody quote me. Maybe there were female roos in there that he was getting defensive about. They have roos and wallabies. Maybe there were females in there. I don't know. I'm the only person I know that just has male roos because I'm broke because they're cheap. Female roos are $3,000 to $4,000 more expensive than the males, which I do think is that I know of the most expensive male to female difference. It's like you get a male kangaroo for $1,500, where females are going from $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 depending on who you get them from. Which the kangaroo breeding is a problem, like because they have a baby once a month or can.
Right.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about
It's just that story. Like it's not denying that's how it happened. It's just kind of like when you look at his age, even though he's still relatively young. Did he have a cardiac episode in the enclosure? And then,
Right.
But then. I mean, would a kangaroo see a person laying on the ground and be like, all right, bet, like,
free shots.
But why would it doesn't seem like we ever see kangaroos beating the shit out of people either way. I mean, it's just such a crazy story because it's not, I mean, even the jacked one that was trying to steal the dog, he didn't fight that guy,
Like
Right,
try
that
to
guy-
drown dogs.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, they did say in this article that it's still under investigation, but the coroner said there was blunt force injury.
Oh, for sure.
Now, maybe he did have a cardiac episode. Maybe he tripped on a fucking rock and the kangaroo whooped
Spooked
his ass.
kangaroo, yeah.
Right.
I shouldn't talk like that.
Maybe he was working on something and fell because he had a cardiac episode, and that what he fell, maybe he was working on the roof or a hut or something that scared him, or
Right.
because things are so weird when they're not witnessed coming from.
Yeah.
Right. And kangaroos, like I keep saying, they're friendlier than most people think they are. But what I'm going to get at here, this goes for all animals. When it comes to the news, they only share the bad shit.
Yeah.
A large part of the time. So we're not going to see the news article about kangaroo so-and-so is super friendly. But what you don't know is kangaroos are actually known for hugging people that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody tells you that. Absolutely. It's just a 50-50 shot whether it loves you or not when it hugs you. Is it going to kick the shit out of you or is it saying hello?
Right.
Kangaroos love people. And another thing about it too, depending on the age of the kangaroo especially, kangaroos box kind of for fun. Like, that's what they do. They beat up their brothers. It is instinctual. They fight sometimes for fun, and they fight for women. They fight for ladies. That's part of the game.
They're bros.
Yeah.
They jack
100%. But they can handle what everybody's giving out,
Right.
So...
They just don't have to go to the gym.
Right.
Right. So, where did I say this place was? South Dakota? South Carolina. So, 5-Star Farms.
Yeah, Horry.
In Horry. South Carolina. They got an accent over there?
So
Probably. I was upset when I was in Texas and nobody had an accent.
Yeah, it's certain areas. It depends where you're at.
I was
Big
really
cities.
surprised. No, it was in like Fork Lake.
I don't know where that
Our tour guide, he was like 80 years old, didn't have an
Horry
accent.
County, South
If
Carolina.
you go to like East Texas, that's like the Creole Texas, and they got that
We were outside of Dallas.
Nolan. Yeah, it's still kind of city.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm gonna get a little bit of a draw.
they only have 24 reviews. They're a 4.6 star.
All right.
Let's just go straight to the lowest.
But it's Karen.
They were supposed to come to a jamboree and did not. They let people down.
Mm.
Whatever. That don't got nothing to do with the animals. Website said it was open. It was not. Okay, whatever. I went there on a kangaroo boxing fight night held during weekends. Excuse me.
Record skip.
Like, so this is a thing then.
$5 gets you 3 rounds to lace up and box with a kangaroo named Jack.
Get the fuck
I
out of here.
flashed.
So he
my-
was training in the morning,
I flashed my jab a few times and landed a clean left hook, but this has to
or
be
maybe
a
there's a
joke.
dude
This
talking.
is totally a joke.
They gotta be trolling.
This is totally a joke.
When was that posted?
2 weeks ago.
When did the guy?
Oh.
When did that happen?
But Jack has I flashed my jab a few times and landed a clean left hook, but Jack has a solid chin and a ferocious uppercut, but he floored me with a rabbit punch to the back of my head. The owner said it was legal move. I said otherwise. This is a joke.
I was about to say.
On Thursday nights, you can do jujitsu with the Wallabies, but only purple belts and above 3 stars.
They might want to take
solid.
that one down.
Solid.
The rest
I
are
was like, no
5
way that's
stars.
legal.
So many animals to name, meticulously maintained. I don't know who had more fun, the kids or the adults. What a
Seems like a
nice
pretty
fun
decent
Another
place.
solid place.
Yeah.
But let's look at some of these images. Those are puppies.
5-star puppies.
Here's some kangaroos. These guys are in the photo. They're little guys. That pen's actually beautiful.
Oh yeah.
You know, that looks like a
They're
nice
in good
kangaroo
shape.
pen. Yeah, they look great.
Definitely red.
Yeah. So the largest kangaroo there is. So 5-Star Farms LLCs. It looks okay. So there's another 5-Star farm that sells puppies, and that's in Greenville, South Carolina.
A lot of 5 stars down there.
Yeah, you guys should definitely double check your name before you make a business. Stop doing this shit. There is another Rigden Ranch somewhere.
Is there?
It's down south.
Mm.
Really? Is it
Yeah.
ON or EN?
Ian.
Bastard.
If you type in Rigden Ranch, you go all the way to the bottom until I stop showing up because I'm a cool kid. We'll find another one here. Let me find it real quick just so we can bring it up. Where the fuck is it?
5 stars are a pretty generic name though, because like
Right.
there's 5-star firearms around here. There's 5-star the race bodies. Make the race car bodies.
The Rigden Ranch is on both sides of Arizona Highway 89. So Arizona.
Let's go.
I should reach out to them. Who
Sure.
are you? Who the fuck?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm gonna take him for ransom. This is my name.
Send them a cease and desist.
Who the fuck are you? So, yeah, getting death by kangaroo, man. That just
Sounds horrible.
it does.
Sounds slow and painful.
I don't how the kangaroo's fast, but like
It took more than one hit though.
I would
Yeah.
really be interested to see, you know, what the coroner says in kind of the report. Like, where was the blunt force trauma? Like, did he fucking burst his kidney or some shit?
Right.
Like, beating the shit out of him? Like,
And they speak
Gotta be.
super generic because blunt force trauma can be a bruise on your arm.
Right.
You know?
absolutely. Like maybe he fell and hit his head.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't even the
Because yeah, he
kangaroo.
blasted him back. He fell on his head.
I'm really glad to read that none of the kangaroos were put down.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I mean, one, being multiple animals in that pen, you couldn't just pick suspect, and B, it's an animal. You know, that's again, you know, we go in there with that risk. So
Yeah.
it would be very unfair to that animal.
Well, then you just more loss of life. It's not fair to anybody.
Yeah, that would be super fucked up. But in a lighter news, everyone, it's my birthday, and I'm old as fuck. How cool is it with everything going on that my birthday falls on Hump Day? That's pretty badass.
Special B-Day podcast.
Special B-Day podcast. I was probably going to call it Killer Kangaroo. just for shits and giggles. But yeah, I know again we're joking about this, but seriously, it's super sad. Again, my condolences to the family, and I hope these guys have I don't know, a nice service for the guy.
It's never a good thing when people get killed by animals in a zoo. So.
No, it's not. And what else is terrible about this is the type of shit that like PETA pulls leverage on.
Yep.
Right.
And you have kangaroos.
So yeah, and it said in there that their investigators were going to come and assess, what the pen looks like and stuff like that. And I mean, in the one picture, it looked good. I mean, who really knows how they run the place? Yeah, they're probably great people, but like,
looks clean.
What the fuck does that really have to do with getting beat up by a kangaroo? I mean, you could have a kangaroo in an incredible enclosure. It could still want to come whoop your ass,
right?
You could have them in the wild. They'll come kick your ass.
Yeah, for fucking sure. What it really boils down to is being Australian.
That's pretty much what it is.
Fuck yeah. If I lived in the outback or in Australia, I don't care if I lived in Sydney, Australia, I'd be walking around with a gun. I don't give a shit. If a snake pull up on me, we ain't doing this shit.
Snake, tarantula,
bull camel, like we ain't, I guess I could figure that one out.
Cassowary.
Now, as far as I know, guns are not as heavy in Australia as they are.
Oh,
so it's like farmers and law enforcement.
And camel
killers. You gotta put in like a permit.
Mm-hmm. Huge. It takes a lot.
But
because you have to have a reason.
I think, yeah.
Because over there they hunt kangaroo, but it's
camels, kangaroo.
Yeah, all types of shit.
They lost a war to emu.
Yeah, make that shit up. Google that shit, guys.
There's wild camels in Australia.
Feral.
Yeah, it's the only place basically the only place in the world you can find wild dromedary camels.
Really?
They call them feral, but they're
wild. They're born there.
Camels. They brought camels into Australia forever ago to help build the railroads.
And infrastructure, all that stuff.
Yeah. So they did all that, and they were basically like, their modern FedEx driver, because horses and shit sink in the sand. The camels don't. They can go super far with less nourishment.
And there's nothing there.
Yeah, nothing there. So they had some people come from overseas, bring them to Australia. They could kind of teach people how they worked and whatnot. They were called the cameleers. So
nice.
In today's day, we all call ourselves cameleers, but that's pretty much Australian.
Yeah.
And then by the time they finished building the railroads and the trains were up, they didn't need the camels anymore, so they let them go.
I think they were supposed to kill them, though. I think they were supposed to kill them, and then
I don't recall.
I thought that's one document.
Australia don't kill shit.
Because they lost a war to a bird.
Yeah, they kill shit now that they're late.
Yeah, the Judas collar. That's so sad. You ever heard of the Judas collar?
No.
There's a short video on YouTube about it where I think you have to pay for it now, right?
It's a couple bucks.
Yeah, it used to be free.
You can probably find it for free if you hunt hard enough.
So they'll find a herd of camels with a helicopter and a gun, and they'll just start mowing them down. Well, they'll keep one alive. They'll trank one, put a collar on him, a tracking collar. That camel's going to go find more herds of camels.
Jeez.
So when he does, they're like, oh, here's another herd. Here comes a helicopter. And decimates them. And it's like one of the saddest short movies I've ever seen. Because the camel's like, what am I doing wrong?
I mean, like, they do that with hogs and shit. But like, why? I mean, are there that many camels there?
There's upwards of 1 million.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, which in terms of some even smaller country like Somalia and whatnot, like Australia doesn't have that many camels compared to some other areas, but they're menacing,
they're a burden there.
Pests, and,
yeah.
Some people say there's 600,000, some people say there's 800, but there's upwards of 1 million camels there.
I don't believe what the DNR says for our numbers, so
no, not at all. But I don't think it's just, whether or not we like the DNR or not, or whoever's over in Australia, it's impossible to get an accurate number.
Oh, for sure.
There's no fucking way.
For sure.
But
that's crazy.
It's super wild.
I did remember reading an article years ago. I couldn't quote it or much or anything, so I'm just going to spitball it. But they closed down a town of with 20,000 camels or something like that was the estimate. 10 to 20,000 camels closed down a small town in Australia. Ooh. Yeah, just because there were so many of them there just in the way.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I love camels, but not that much.
No. Right? No, that's absolutely fucking wild. I can't imagine. It'd be cool. That's like one of my lifelong goals. I want to go to Australia and catch a wild camel.
Right.
That's what they do over there.
Yeah, it'd be so
You know,
much fun.
There's dairies and stuff over there, and they catch them and do whatever they want. They can send it back, and
That's cool.
it don't fucking matter. You know, Australia, like, man, when it comes to animals, you do you.
Yeah.
I love seeing online. Ever since I got mine, I've kind of watched people do it. But people have wild kookaburras come to their door and they throw them a rat.
That's
and
awesome.
That's cool.
fucking cool, man.
I really want to befriend a raven or a murder of crows.
Just the whole murder.
Yeah, all 37 of you get over here.
I gotta fix these fucking mics, man. Every week we do this. The audio is so inconsistent.
Sorry, everybody.
So we everybody today I took the what are those things called off?
The boosters.
Yeah, there's amplifiers for the microphones that plug into one. And I took them off because they were making a lot of static. And now that they're off and I'm talking, it seemed like the audio was recording fine. But every time I talk, I just hear a lot of static and echo now.
It's probably just a plate in Sid's head.
One of the screws in my neck. Yeah.
It's coming loose, you know. So for my birthday, we're going to eat meatloaf at my grandma's. Everybody probably thinks that sounds awful, but she asked what I wanted for dinner, and I said meatloaf.
I think a lot of people like meatloaf,
I love
meatloaf.
especially grandma's meatloaf,
It's got to be good, you know.
right?
Ma,
Fuck.
Meatloaf.
what movie is that?
It's the Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, Sweaty
Yeah.
Crashers. Damn it, you got it.
That is such a good movie.
Quick.
But yeah, this noise in my headphones.
I'll
so-
find you.
Hey, if anybody is a sound guy that listens to this, please contact me.
He needs help because we don't know I don't know what we're doing.
I need help getting this off the fucking ground a little better. I know a sound guy. I need
You got
to
the
get him over
mics.
here. Yeah, we got everything we fucking need. I can't. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But yeah, week on the farm. We got Flynn riding for the first time. It went well. We went 3 laps. He ended up he sat down with Sid on him, which he got right back up. And were you intimidated by all of that, or?
It was a little sketchy.
Yeah.
I'm not like I told you last week. Like, the camels don't scare me, and I'm not saying that because I'm tough. They're cool, and they're cool with me, and they don't scare me. But
They don't scare you yet.
the serval cat scares me, and certain other things scare me, but their size doesn't. But today was it wasn't intimidating. It was just like me constantly thinking of my escape route.
That's
So,
Well, the camel starts going down. I'm like, stay on.
yeah, I was
He
like,
didn't roll though.
no. I was worried about him going, like, because you know how sometimes horses kick up and they go backwards. Like, I was worried about something like
They
that
can't
happening.
do it really.
He'll get. I mean, he could. If it's not like a whole buck, they'll jump quick and get a foot off the ground.
They'll
you know?
buck, but
Yeah.
it's gonna hurt the boys.
Yeah,
Like
for
the
sure.
jewels.
Oh,
but
for sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not bad.
We went 3 rounds. We got him out of the chute the one time, and he didn't want to go back in. We finally got him in. Sid got off. Round 2, he laid down, got him up real quick, back in the chute, and then round 3, he walked out of the chute, walked a little quick, didn't sit down or nothing, walked back in the chute. Sid got off, and I just called it a day right there. I mean, we could have rode him all day for sure, but
sounds like it.
it was it was a good first ride.
Yeah, definitely. I told him right away as it was happening. I was like, "You're lucky I got experience with bucking bulls."
It's only about 5 more feet taller.
I didn't do the one hand up thing though. I was posted real hard on the
Just
harness.
knuckle marks in the rail.
Honestly, when you're riding camels, whether they're bucking or not, or whatever the situation is, you have to try to fall off.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that safety bar right there. I mean, and there's so much to hang on to.
Well, I almost had a kid fall off one time because he was standing.
Did you?
Yeah, he was at Milwaukee County Zoo. The mom started screaming from the ground. I looked
Sure,
back
make
and
so much noise.
the kid's standing on top of the camel. I'm like, oh God. And he like started stumbling around like, shut down. Like, screaming at him. Mom was already screaming,
That's fucked up.
going
man.
berserk. I was terrified.
I you know what? I probably shouldn't say this publicly,
No,
but I'm the only person I know of that has had a kid fall off.
really?
100% out of the 40 years of Jodan, and I'm the only person I know of. And I do kind of blame my loader because I'm concentrating on the camel.
Yeah.
And I'm moving forward. And the loader's sitting there playing on her phone and shit, not paying attention to the ride. And all of a sudden I hear somebody say like gasp or so. I don't remember what the fuck happened. Anyway, I look down and the kid's behind the camel on his ass, and he's just sitting like with his feet out forward.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there looking dazed. Turns out the kid fell asleep. The fucking kid fell asleep on the camel. The kid fell asleep on the camel, and it was a 2-lap ride. It was quick. This kid hopped down there, got comfortable. He went and he slipped.
Fell asleep.
And I was working for Bob. I was 16, 17 years old. I was young and
Fresh walker too. Then
fresh walker. I was definitely not as mature and caring, I guess, at the time. I was just hanging out with the camel. I reckon I was in charge, which was also not.
16, yeah.
But I was like, you okay, dude? And he nodded his head, yeah. And I picked him up and I lifted him across the fence to his parents, and I was like, what do you guys want to do? And the parents were like, nothing. And they walked away with the
awesome.
kid. Yeah, I don't know,
Perfect.
whatever. And the kid fell asleep, and
Yeah.
so, but what I don't understand with this situation is between my loader and the parents, nobody was watching this kid. Like, they weren't taking photos of him on the camel. Like, and needless to say, when he started to slipping, whoever did have their eyes on him, nobody said anything. I didn't know that kid was falling till he was butt first on the
Well, if he was in the back, you wouldn't been able to see him either.
I don't know, man.
Doubt it.
He wasn't a super small kid. He wasn't 3. He was probably like 5 or.
That would be pretty.
You can't not see the fucking kid. Come on.
Right. Well, even putting like my boy in there, like, it would be, and I know he's taller, but it'd be kind of hard for him to like accidentally fall either. Like
You look at it.
He was probably a bit smaller than Colton.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like a newborn or something.
Yeah, right.
He was
right.
You could see the kid.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so
if you're not watching for it every single ride, which you're not,
yeah, for sure.
But that's a lot of parents too. They're like, here's your ticket, see you, go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're babysitters for the time being, and the camel ride's quick, and that pisses a lot of parents off. But we got to get through a stem of children.
Oh, right.
And yeah, it's not something I talk about a whole lot. But hey, this is what the podcast strives on is honesty. So
You're under new management now.
Yeah, we're under new management.
The new boss is great.
Yeah, I come to believe I'm a camel specialist. But whatever.
I lost a loader fell one time
That's great.
at the Milwaukee Zoo. You know how it was like?
Are you talking about Brienne? Her first day of work, she broke her arm falling off the ramp.
No, it was a different chick.
Different chick.
I think.
So I'm
That was
thinking
before you.
Casey Brienne.
No, this is before you. Because she picked up poop, and she was crawling back up the ramp, and she went to go step over like where the camel goes from the railing, and she missed it and just straight down. I can't remember who that was.
It's
But I
like
walked
the
up
grape
with-
lady.
Dude, I was like, she's dead. I have people on the camel because I'm coming up and around. I'm like, she's dead. Like,
Like what kind of fall was it? Describe the fall.
Was it
her
slow?
foot missed the wood deck, and she just like froze in air, just wham, right on the ground.
No.
Like, I want to say she landed with her shoulder, so I don't think she hit her head. Maybe she did hit her head because she had to go home. We had to close the ride for a few hours until we got a replacement walker.
Probably.
And I had to cush the camel before we got in. So I'm like, "You okay?" She's like, "Ugh." All right, I'm gonna cush the camel here. You just stay there. We're gonna call the ambulance. So Belle came over and
Were you there when we were just doing the Family Christian Center, the show where the guy fell off the horse? The guy, I didn't see it, but one of the horse riders fell off. It's part of the show. They fall off, but soldiers catch him. Because it stemmed because somebody years ago legitimately fell off the horse, and the pastor/director liked it, and he was like, put that in the show. So, but this last season, the guy went to do the scene, and they kind of fucked up or whatever, and he fell on his hip and broke it.
Oh.
Yeah, you got fucked up, man. I hope Jesus was paying for
See,
that.
every time
But
I've missed the horse falling in the pool, the camel falling in the pool.
man, and they still yell at me for the camel. Not yell at me, but they all joke at me about the camel falling in the pool. I'm like,
You weren't
wasn't
even
even there.
Yeah.
No, god damn it. Bad shit happens when I'm not around.
Who was that? Was that Peanut?
It was Peanut with Michael, Robbie, I think, and Daniel.
Okay.
There were 3 people there, and that's
Yeah.
a 2-person job.
Yeah.
God damn it. So that makes me think of it. Worst for you guys, worst workplace injury, any job you've had. What do you got?
What I've seen or on me
On
personally?
you, at any job you've had. Don't have to be, when you're EMT or nothing. Just enjoy. I mean, it could have been at Papa Murphy's. Worst injury at work you've had. You got some good ones.
Does war count?
Sure.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't have any cool war stories.
I was about to say, yeah, let's hear it, man.
Well, you felt bombs on a toilet, right?
I did. That was the closest one. Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
No, mine was probably
I
my getting my finger bit broke by the dog on the interstate that I was chasing.
What were you chasing the dog for?
Dude was having an event and he was pulled over. He had a dog with him. Somehow the dog got out of his truck. He was pulling. He had a big. He was some kind of rancher. He had some kind of animal. I think it was horses or cows, but the dog was on the.
This in Texas?
No, in Germantown.
Oh, of course.
And it's a fucking corgi. It's the fastest corgi alive. And it's running through all like cattails and stuff next to the highway, and us and like cops and sheriffs and we're all chasing this fucking dog so it doesn't run in the interstate.
Sure.
And then finally, like I'm running up this hill, and it's getting to the gravel, so I just dove and grabbed it by its scruff and collar and shit, and just fucking put my hand on it and threw it down. And when I did that, it turned its head and bit my pinky, and it wasn't a big deal. And then I had my extrication gloves on, which are just mechanics gloves, so they're not really protective.
Mm-hmm.
And my battalion chief was like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, it bit me. I'm good, whatever." And he took my glove off and blood dripped out, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm good." And then so I ended up on fucking light duty with a broken finger for like a month and a half.
So our corgi broke your finger.
A fucking punk ass corgi.
You're a bitch.
Yeah, that's kind of
Corgi. I thought you were gonna be talking about like
German Shepherd or something.
shepherd or a beefy pit bull or a
No,
fucking
It was an
Malinois,
adorable
like-
little corgi.
no, I dealt with all this shit. Like my first day in EMS, I didn't see it happen. I saw the aftermath of a dude get his dick chewed off by pit bulls.
Oh my
So I was usually there for the bad shit. I wasn't
Yeah, you've seen worse.
Did like someone at least show you photos of this later?
No, I was on of what? Which one? The pit bull thing?
Yeah.
No, I was there.
Oh, you were at that one. Okay.
That was my one of my first. That was my first day. We got called. So
Did the dog eat it?
no, it was still on. Do you want to hear that story?
Yeah.
Hold on.
All right.
This is why Sid is so morbid. Okay, he's seen some shit. Anyways,
So we're going to call for a dog bite, and I was with Bell, so we're private. So MFD's there as well for their paramedics at the time. Cops were out. There's 2 or 3 pit bulls in this backyard. Beautiful fence, just going at the fence, and there's a fucking cop with the shotgun at the pit bulls just in case they get over the fence. And there's this dude laying against the garage, and he's in and out, like speaking. He's a black dude, and he was in and out speaking English and Spanish to the cops, saying, "Don't shoot the dogs." And he was really concerned about finding his wallet and the dogs, and he was just covered in blood all over, like he was scratched up and stuff. And I was like, and his pants were ripped, and there was a hole, and you could pretty much see like his boxers and everything like that, and he had a lot of blood from his thigh. And I told the medic that was talking to him, I was like, "You might want to move his boxers around." And when she did, it was like the rod was just hanging on by some skin. And I was like, well, that's what I'm getting myself into, apparently.
so this is early on.
That was my first day working at Bell.
Oh my god.
My first overnight shift, yeah.
Do you ever like get word of what happens with these people after you drop them off?
It depends. That one MFD took, so no. Like the guy I told about the
What's MD?
Milwaukee Fire, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Like the guy that with the degloving, yeah, we got some word on him. We can ask the hospitals to give us feedback. Usually if we fly someone, flight usually gets feedback that they'll give to us. some hospitals are pretty good about giving us feedback. Some aren't.
Sure.
Depends. It depends how crazy the call was, how much work done was one from either side, and
Some pretty epic ones.
yeah, it's cool to hear things back usually.
Well, what about you? What's your worst?
I got two I was thinking of.
Okay.
The worst one here was when I got kicked in the nuts by the zebra, and I had to leave because I thought for sure I was peeing blood.
Oh,
I forget what it was. A Zindi or Zephyr? I wasn't Zephyr.
it was Zephyr when I was here. Not Zephyr. We had Zeke.
Zeke was the bastard
Yeah.
because he was gonna kill me for 1,000%. He was gonna kill me.
Yeah, that was Mike Zebra and Mike Zebra's only.
Well, he's the one that got it
Not
off
Zeke.
me.
Not Zeke. Zephyr was Mike.
Zephyr's
Zebra.
was it?
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
And dude, that was probably some of the worst pain I've ever felt. But then my first shop, it was just bad because I had to leave because I was bleeding so bad. So I was running a lathe and a like spider web of chips, like a mouse nest or a rat's nest of chips just built up on this part. And I was pulling it off with a needle nose, and one of the chips wrapped around the tip of my finger, and I still got the scar, and I went like this, and it went oh shit, my hand was just covered in blood instantly. I'm like, oh no, this is bad. So then it was his third shift too. I'm like, I'm gonna try to hide it. My supervisor seen it, and he's like, you should probably go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go home, man. I'm just gonna sleep it off. It'll be fine. He's like, no, you should go to the hospital. Ah, man, I'm good. He's like, you need stitches. No, dude, not on the tip of my finger, no. And I ended up going home, super gluing it shut. And my ex talked me into going to the doctor. I'm like,
Now they
fine.
have to unsuper glue it.
No, dude, it was even worse. So I get there, I'm waiting there for 2 hours in the emergency room at like 3:00 in the morning. And then they finally see me after like 2 or 3 hours waiting. They're like, all right, so you glued it. Can I see it? Sure. Oh, yeah, good job. They patted me on the back. They said, you're released. I said, excuse me? Like, we're not going to do anything? Well, you stopped the bleeding. Oh, so the $500 I paid to get in here was just totally worthless now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm an idiot. So
Would you just use normal at-home super glue? Yeah.
crazy glue, whatever. The guy with the helmet, he's hanging from the thing. I think that was it.
I keep it in my go bag.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. It's like the best bandage you
I like
can have.
Gorilla Glue personally.
Is there like any like toxins in the glue that will fuck you up if you put too much in a wound or something?
I mean, at that point, you're doing it kind of as a last. Well, I mean, when you do stuff like that, like I said last week, always fight infection. That's like the biggest thing you got to worry about. So the glue itself, probably not. It might have shit that burns you real
Wait,
quick.
there's shit out of it though.
I mean, there's professional wound glue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I got
just-
that.
I never looked into it. It probably is.
I bet you could spray blue coat on you.
Just
I
charge
have.
more.
Yeah.
It fucking hurts.
Oh, I bet it
It
stings.
hurts like a bitch. This was probably 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Cody was still living here, and I closed the knife you got me. I closed it on my finger. There's a nice little gash on my finger here, and I walked up the house. I was like, "Hey, I need some like peroxide or some shit," and clean it out real quick. And she sprayed blue coat in it. She's like, "I have this," and I was like, "Man, I don't know. It's very blatant. It says for horses, but whatever." Yeah, that shit. I fucking yelped.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit, that
burns.
burns.
Yeah.
That means it's working.
Facts. It healed up. So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't get this. My finger didn't get infected. I've had like hangnails that got infected though.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't think of I don't know if I've ever had like an infected cut or anything like
No.
that. Never had an infected tattoo. I've never had anything like that.
What was your worst work injury?
I don't really have anything too bad.
Didn't you get kicked in the head by a camel?
That's definitely the worst for sure. I didn't.
Or was it the zebra or the giraffe trailer?
That's a good one. So, I do want to say that Zeke, he was the second animal to hurt me. He kicked me in my stomach. I had a hoof mark on my stomach. Luckily, like it wasn't like I was just luckily like the right distance to where like he didn't completely nail me, but like I felt that shit. And then the first thing that got me was the skunk. Skunk bit me. And then the last thing that's been me to today's date is a skunk. But yeah, I wasn't paranoid back then too. Like I didn't care about getting bit or
No, not when you're
or
younger.
anything like that. And then yeah, that was Stormy the camel at the county fair. He wasn't a riding camel, but we were trying to train him, and that was my fault. I was sitting behind him crisscross applesauce, and I was like, I'm not just annoy him. And I was poking him in the leg, and Dink. He kicked me with his back leg directly in the eye socket. I walked away. So the camel's feet, they're super squishy. They're sand shoes, snowshoes, and I didn't have a black eye. I had a hell of a headache. I probably had a concussion. But honestly, from that, like I'd say I'm lucky to be alive.
Oh yeah,
What saved me more damage is I was very, very close to that camel.
Yeah.
If he would have had momentum to get that kick going,
done.
I'd have been fucked up. Though I will say, if that was a horse, I'd have been dead. I'd have been fucking dead.
That was the only time that you've been doing this probably that I like needed, or I felt like I worried about you more so. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're alive right now, and you're like, it's part of the job. That's what it is, though. I guess
I got up. Grandma was there, and everybody's coming to visit like 5 minutes after that. And somebody gave me some ibuprofen, and I did rides the rest of the day. I just got up, and it was I think I had Peanut and Stormy out there or something, and or maybe Doofus and Stormy. And then the draft trailer. I was hauling a camel in a draft trailer, and I was with my buddy Mo. He was riding with me. So this was a fucking long haul, man. So we had driven down to Florida in my my Ford Fusion. So this was COVID-ish times. This was after Bob died, and we had his camel up here, this other guy's camel up here, and we had to get it back to Florida. So me and Mo drove down to Florida for vacation, and we were just fucking around down there. I don't even know. And Lex called. He paid me to get the camel back from Wisconsin to Florida. But Bob was dead. The business was gone. So he gave me his 7.3, his truck, and his draft trailer to haul up here. So we parked my car at Draft Ranch. We drove all the way back up to Wisconsin. In the midst, though, which I didn't disclose with anybody that who owned the truck. Love you, Lex. I stopped with the trailer and the truck in the dead butt middle of Atlanta to film a music show. And I had to back this draft trailer down like an alleyway in Atlanta, dude.
Jeez.
And they were like, you better know how to drive this thing. And I was like, we'll be fine, man. And it was like because it was COVID, people were doing online concerts.
Yep.
But it was a bunch of local people I knew that were all also in Atlanta at the time. So we stopped there. I filmed it, filmed part of a music video that we never used there. And then this dude I used to talk to, LaRue, he was Nomo Valentine. He was ready to get the fuck home too. And me and Mo, we were trying to get on the road. And about like 2 a.m, he was like, I'm sick of waiting. I was like, get in the fucking truck. Let's go. I'll drop you off in Kenosha on the way home.
Yep.
And about 3 a.m, we got back in the truck. I drove straight home. Nobody else ever drove a trailer, so I drove straight home. That's another, how far is it, Atlanta?
Probably like 14 to 16 hours.
And then I think the total drive from here to Lex's is 20. So whatever, I get home, and okay, so let's stop the middle here. We were getting closer to home. I think I was in Indiana or Illinois. And so there's two types of draft trailers. There's ones that are just tall, and then there's ones that you can lift the roof up. And when you lift the roof up, there's winches on both sides of the trailers you have to turn. Because when you're driving, the roof starts to lower. So you want to lift it up so the pulleys in the system don't break, the ropes and shit like that. You always want it to be evened out when you stop. And there's a button on it to release the winch, and it'll start spinning to lower the roof. And I'm sitting here fucking with this crank, trying to get it to crank, man, and I accidentally hit the release lever, and the wheel starts spinning fucking fast as shit, and the crank knob hits me in the nose. And that's how I broke my nose. Broke my fucking nose in the parking lot.
That's why it goes to the right.
Yep. So it goes slightly to the right. So I used to have a perfectly straight nose. And I'm sitting here I'm bleeding in the fucking this gas station parking lot, and this motherfucker
Just screaming.
I was pissed. I was screaming and I was bleeding, and the motherfucker hit me, and I go fuck, and I hear the truck door slam. Mo comes out running around the truck with his fucking handgun, and he's like, "What the fuck's going on?" I said, "Bro, we're good, bro. We're good." He's like. He sees me bleeding. He's like, "What the fuck happened?" I said, "The fucking trailer beat my ass." And he put it back in his, 'cause he carries a fanny pack. And he was like, "Dude, I thought we were going to have to fuck somebody up." I was like, "No, we're good." He starts cracking the fuck up. So I get back to Wisconsin after this trip, and I go and help Miggy direct a music video at my ex-girlfriend's studio. And that was the longest I had ever stayed awake. It was over 50 hours.
Oh, geez.
It was a fucking trip. So then we took a break. It was winter up here too. I had Lexus fucking 7.3, and it's from Florida, so it doesn't have any like
shitty tires.
You can't plug in the truck and keep.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so I waited 2 or 3 days for the snow to melt, and then loaded the Camel and took it home. So last year, or maybe it was earlier this year. No, it was last year. When I started going to the doctor for my tumor and shit, and initially they sent me to an ear, nose, throat doctor, and the guy was looking around and blah 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 blah, and he stuck his flashlight up my nostril, and he was like, "Yeah, you got a deviated septum," and I was like, "I knew it." The fucking trailer broke my fucking nose, man, and it's been crooked ever fucking since.
I had him do mine when I had my surgery. I got the deviated septum fixed, and they offered to do like some boring out over here and shit, and I was like, I'll come back later if I want to, but the deviated septum shit, or the rhinoplasty or whatever, it didn't fix shit for my breathing.
Really?
Yep. So
I'm surprised at that big ass honker.
Where'd you deviate yours? Like football or something back in the day, or
dude, I don't know, football, MMA, fucking skate. I think the first time, I never went into the hospital, but I think the first time I broke my nose was on the quarter pipe at the skate park downtown on my skateboard, and it's not the bed, it doesn't invert at all, it's kind of like you just go straight down. So the first time I tried, I could rock and roll the 6-footers and stuff, but I still wasn't very good. So one time I was dropping in on the 9-footer and just landed on my face.
Oh, you went from, oh my God.
Yeah.
I never did that. Nope. There's no point for me to do that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Nope, not for me.
The deck was like 6 inches wide.
Yeah, it's, try it. I
You
think
did
I got
try.
it. I think I got it eventually, but I'm no Michael.
No, he used to air out on 20 feet. Man.
Right, dude. It was fun just going down there to watch him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I miss those days. The glory days.
The glory days.
I broke my nose in 2nd grade in North Park.
Did you?
Me and a chick turned around at the same time. As far as I remember, because people said that she punched me, but I don't remember.
Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, Julia Van Way.
I literally thought that in my head for some reason before you said the name.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of what women would punch you back in the day.
That's probably...
Dude, when I moved up north, when I started working, she was one of my dispatchers up there.
Really? Oh, you told me that.
Yeah, so crazy.
So Sid, he had mentioned to you the other day that he doesn't have a gag reflex.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. But I think why is because when he was little, he fell with a baseball bat in his mouth.
I wonder if that would make sense to it. Yeah, I don't know what, the miniature baseball bats.
It was a small one. Sure it was.
Yeah. I wasn't trying anything. I had nothing to prove yet. I was a child. But yeah, like I had it like under my butt cheek. I wasn't shoving it in my asshole.
It sounded really bad.
It just gets...
From what I remember, like, I think I was trying to use it like as a seat, and we were in Josh's backyard, and then it like slipped somehow and just shot through the roof of my mouth. So it wasn't back there, so I don't know if it would fuck with the gag reflex or not, but it like shot through the roof of my mouth. There's just blood pouring out in the sink, and like I think mom and grandma took me to the hospital. I don't know. It ended up being like not that bad, I guess, but
That was pretty bad.
Probably the most equivalent thing I did to that was I opened a cabinet door one time with a fork in my mouth. So I had 4 holes in the roof of my mouth. That's fucking stupid. That was over on 4 Mile. They weren't even cool cabinets. They were lime green cabinets at that. Like, Bullshit.
They were different.
They were different. They were ugly as fuck. But on that note, guys, I have to go eat some birthday meatloaf.
Yep.
Birthday meat.
That too. I appreciate all you guys chiming in. And without further ado,
Happy hump day, everybody.
Happy hump day.
Woo woo.